Can a human being truly live without breathing? Not for seconds, but for hours. Science says oxygen is our lifeline. The brain can't survive more than a few minutes without it. And yet, yogic texts and living masters tell stories of yogis who remain in deep meditation, heart slowed, body still, and breath suspended. How is that possible? Is it myth, miracle, or a mastery of life that science hasn't yet measured? Let's uncover it step by step. Modern physiology tells us breath is the bridge between life and death. Our cells depend on oxygen to produce energy. If breath stops, the body collapses. But here's the hidden layer. Breath is not life itself. It is just the fuel supply system. If the system learns to draw energy directly not from air but from life force, the rules change. Sadhguru once said, if your energies become so intense and stable, you can sit still for hours without breathing, and nothing in your body will suffer. To understand that, we must look deeper into how the yogic system views the human body. In yogic science, you are not just a physical body. You are a network of energy channels called nadis and energy centers called chakras. Through these flows prana, the vital life energy. Breathing is just one way of drawing prana from the atmosphere. But it's not the only way. Advanced yogic practices like Kevala Kumbhaka allow the body to become so efficient that it recycles its own prana internally. It's as if the body begins to breathe through every cell, not just the lungs. At that point, physical breathing becomes optional. When yogis speak of breathless states, they don't mean suffocation. They mean entering a level of stillness where the energy within moves in perfect rhythm. Sadhguru explains that when the system reaches absolute balance, the breath naturally stops, not by force, but because it's no longer needed. He says when there's no friction in the system, the need for oxygen reduces dramatically. Just like a car engine idling at fuel efficiency produces no heat or waste. A body in yogic balance doesn't burn oxygen, it simply is. There are documented stories from the Himalayas of yogis sitting buried in snow or sealed caves emerging alive after days. Skeptics call them legends, but even modern science has witnessed glimpses of this. In the 20th century, a yogi named Haridas was tested in a sealed underground box for hours without measurable respiration. His heart slowed, metabolism dropped, yet his body remained alive and stable. How? Because his life was being sustained not by breath, but by prana. Yogic tradition calls this state samadhi, total union, where the body is sustained by universal energy. To most people, energy means food and oxygen. But prana has 5 dimensions: prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana. Each governs a different aspect of life. When these five are harmonized through yoga, the dependence on external input reduces. A yogi who lives in alignment with the cosmic rhythm can absorb prana directly through the skin, the pores, or even the subtle body. In this state, breath becomes secondary. They aren't fighting biology. They have simply transcended its limitations. Every breath we take reflects inner restlessness. The faster the mind races, the faster the breath becomes. When your mind slows, breath follows. When the mind becomes absolutely still, breath can stop completely. You have seen this even in ordinary life. When you are awestruck or deeply moved, for a moment you forget to breathe. Now imagine that stillness sustained for hours. That's meditation at its deepest. That's why yogis aren't trying to hold the breath. They simply go beyond the need for it. Sadhguru says, breath is the thread that ties you to the body. The moment you go beyond the thread, you can exist without breath, but you are still alive. This isn't magic, it's mastery. It's the ultimate balance of energy where the physical and the cosmic merge. If breath connects you to the earth, prana connects you to the cosmos. When the body becomes an instrument of the universe, it can sustain itself on subtler energies. That's why advanced yogis call the breathless state Mahasamadhi in motion, living death, complete union without dissolution. Now, this doesn't mean anyone should attempt to stop breathing. Without deep preparation, this can damage the system. The yogic process takes years of disciplined practice, cleansing, and guidance. Sadhguru warns you can't play with the mechanics of life unless you know every inch of it. Trying to mimic such states without inner balance is like trying to drive without knowing how brakes work. But understanding that such possibilities exist can awaken awe and humility towards life. The message isn't that you should stop breathing. It's that you should start living consciously. Every breath you take is a bridge between the inner and the outer. If you bring awareness to it, you can experience the same stillness, not for hours, but even for moments. Those moments can transform your clarity, peace, and perception. When you learn to control your breath, you start controlling the way life moves within you. And that's the beginning of yoga. Not performing miracles, but mastering your own mechanism. So yes, yogis can live without breathing for hours, not because they have conquered biology, but because they have merged with the very source of life. If this exploration helped you see the science behind what seems mystical, subscribe to this channel. Share this video with those who are curious about yogic possibilities, and tell me in the comments, what do you think breath truly connects you to? Because the day you understand that, you'll stop just inhaling air and start inhaling existence itself.